Alrighty, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Thursday. We're continuing to talk about generational cycles and breaking those generational cycles. Let me introduce myself. I'm Diana Oskov. I'm a rapid transformational therapist, clinical hypnotherapist, and life coach. I specialize in generational cycles and breaking them. I'm very proud to say that I am the generational cycle breaker in my family, and I know how this process works firsthand. So I'm here to inspire you and give you more information on the topic, and hopefully you will be becoming the generational cycle breaker in your family. We started the talk last week, and we continue to speak about the generational cycles. Today we're talking about what happened. It happened to you, not with you. And here is the difference between taking the difference between blame and taking responsibility, and why this is so important. And before I start, I really want to focus on something, to address something today, because when we sit in the room every time and we have this conversation, there's something that comes up. If you don't name it, it always has the quiet way of blocking everything that follows. So looking honestly in your patterns sometimes can be feeling like an act of betrayal. And often people feel like an act of betrayal because you're changing. You're changing the pattern that you have been living with. You're changing the pattern that your family is used to it. And that it's discomfort. That is often taken as betrayal. Just to silence my phone. So imagine you're doing the change. You're seeing the patterns. You're making the decisions to change those patterns. And sometimes this looks exactly like standing up in a courtroom and putting your finger on all the people that have raised you. Your parents, your family, your caregivers, the teachers, and everybody around you. In general, the people who loved you, even imperfectly. And even when everything they do got wrong, they still did it from a loving place. And I know this sometimes it sounds very ridiculous, especially if you have been going through a lot of difficult experiences in your childhood. But we all operate based on where we are in life and how much we know. And sometimes it's not easy to resist that because it's a deep process. But if you maybe feel disloyal, or maybe feel it's ungrateful, or maybe feels like you're admitting to something that was happened to you and you should have been responding from different way, you're taking something away from them, from those people who have raised you, from those people who have loved you and cared for you. This is the feeling of betrayal from this relationship that actually haven't been serving you. And for all of this, you have been working very hard to make peace with it. But unfortunately, at one point, the betrayal surfaced up. So I want to say something very clearly before we go any further. That resistance that comes with the change, it's not a weakness. It's love. And it means that you're being someone who does not throw away the people you care for. You stick with them, but in a way, in a new way, in a change way. You're not betraying them. You're helping them grow as well as you're growing, and that really matters. That actually is a sign of that really the work that you're doing. It's working. It's already being taking you closer to the real you. But here's one I want to really focus on today. There's a huge difference between understanding something and blaming someone for it. And when it comes to breaking the generational cycles and overcoming those beliefs and patterns, it's very important to know that difference. And this is all about what we're going to be talking today, the difference between blame and responsibility. So where are you at the moment? Where are you in your process of moving on forward? What you have been working on? I know here on Insight Timer, a lot of people are part of the process already of awakening, of changing, of doing something for themselves, of rediscovering. Because we all have to rediscover ourselves, remove the labels that we have adopted through our growth, and get connected with who we really are. I also want to share something very personal. I spent a lot of time of waiting to look closely on my own family, not because I didn't love them, but because I did. And when you love people, there is this unspoken agreement that some things were out there without actually we're talking about them. That you don't just pull certain threads and change them. That gratitude means leaving certain doors open or closed, many times closed. And it took me years to understand that leaving those doors closed, it wasn't actually protecting anybody. I was just avoiding it for the moment and leaving it for later. So it kept me, it was the one thing that this leaving the closed door did for me is keeping me inside a house that was built for somebody else. I wasn't able to share something that I see what is going on with my own life. And that's why today I really want to share with you a lot of things that I see in my practice, and they're repeating over and over again. Because when I sit with somebody who is struggling, it doesn't matter with what, with their relationship or with money or the way that they speak with themselves, the way they treat themselves, and hear their stories. And at some point in our work together, we trace back. We always trace it back to those closed doors. And when we find what we find there, it's never a monster. What we find is parents who has been never taught how to really show up love without actually expecting something for it, without this conditioning, because no one showed them. Or a mother who held the family together in a way to survive with fear, because fear was the only tool that she was giving when she was young. Or having a father who went silent under pressure because his own father went silent. And his father went silent before that. So we keep repeating the patterns. And all I want you to focus your attention today is the ability to recognize those patterns, the ability to see what is happening. What are you repeating that it's coming from your parents and grandparents? And again, there's a lot of good stuff as well that those patterns, those generational patterns and cycles bring. But I'm working with the ones that need to be stopped, that are no longer serving us. And we have the power to change them, the power to improve and to become something different. Not something different, but to get connected with the real us who was born, and bring those gifts into the surface. And I often think about my own father. He was not emotionally open man, not because he didn't feel things, but because nobody taught him how to do this. And I believe that he, in a way, felt everything, but it wasn't aware of those emotions and feelings that he was feeling. He wasn't aware what that means and where it comes from. But somewhere in his childhood, in the world he grew up, in that silence that was modeled to him, he learned that feelings are not safe to show up and you can keep it quiet. So what he did, he stored them in his body, and he never was able to reach out and to process them out. In his case, the strength meant contentment. That love meant providing, not expressing. And this is what he did. He was an absolutely perfect provider, but he never knew how to connect, how to express. And this is something I discovered, and I intentionally start changing in my life. And so this is what he passed on to me, to us, to his kids. It took me a while to discover this pattern, and he passed it down not because he wanted to pass it down, not because he sat down one day and decided, oh, I'll teach my children to struggle with money, to struggle with asking for help, to do everything themselves. With believing, installing in us the belief that we are enough just by ourselves, and we can do everything by ourselves without any performance. But at the same time, as closing this also is closing us to just us, not allowing others to come into our life, help us and be part of it. So he passed down to us all those patterns that he had held, and we receive it. And sometimes it's absolutely unintentionally, because what is happening in your childhood, you're just observing like a sponge. You're a child and you're observing the behavior that everyone around you have, and that behavior become your own behavior one day, without a question, without a filter, without any ability to say, wait a minute, I don't really want this. And this is how those patterns are passed down from generation to generation, absolutely subconsciously, without even us being aware of. And this is how always have been working. But nowadays we have all the knowledge and all the information to stop that, to stop those patterns that are not working for us anymore. In my practice, I often sat across people who grow up in different households with different beliefs, where money have been a source of constant anxiety, where conversations at the dinner table were not always about what they did or didn't have, mainly focused on what they did not have, or if they ever at all have any conversations. And focusing on what you don't have in life, what you cannot afford, it changes your perspective. You start living in this pattern of what it's not available. And when it's not available to you, that stays with you. That's a pattern that very much affects us in the long term, in a very variety of different ways, because we're all different. And the same thing could affect you in one way, could affect me in the other way, based on our experiences in life. And some people sit with me 30 years later, and they're sharing their story. They're successful, they're genuine provider for the family, and they still cannot have a good relationship with money. They still cannot spend money without feeling this grief or this guilt or fear of making something that logically make no sense for them. So that is the part where you start questioning where this is coming from. Where does belief that I don't have enough, it has been formed? Because the bank account is not going to change how you feel. The belief will change you how you feel. The understanding where this belief is coming from and working on it will change your relationship with money in this case. The bank account will not change anything, because the belief was installed before you couldn't have the logical understanding, because you before you could not you could learn how to evaluate if this is right or wrong. And sometimes when you learn to the wrong evaluation, it stays with you until you decide that you have to upgrade that. So How do you see that in your life? Have you ever seen that pattern in your life? What patterns have you seen in your life? When it comes to love, I often see people who struggle with love, or walking on eggshells, or they don't have a good role model at home to see that affection was actually something that it's not performer, it's something that is existence. They often stop in a moment and struggle with being successful, being good, having a good relationship, because they haven't seen an example of good relationship. They learn how to walk on eggshells their entire life. They continue to walk on eggshells. They find the same relationship that they have seen at home, and they rebuild it absolutely unintentionally. But love is available to everybody, and relationships are very important. Good relationship with good people who are available for you, who can give you love. And often that it's not just a simple reset that you can do inside yourself. It's a series of different works that you have to embody in your body and in your mind in order to achieve what you want to achieve. You don't have to wait in something to happen to you. You have to be the one doing the steps and allowing yourself to change. And everything starts with you. You hold the power to change. You hold the power to override and upgrade those beliefs that you have in you from your childhood. The abandonment, that actually love is available for you, that actually somebody it's there for you existing in this world. And when those patterns are discovered, you start doing the actual work, because they don't disappear overnight. They have to be felt. You have to sit with them. You have to do a lot of somatic work in order to release all of this from your body. But here is one thing that I really want you to hear me today, knowing that none of this, what happened to you in your childhood, is your fault. It just happened to you, not with you. It happened because the people who raised you have that much awareness, that much knowledge. They were able to see that far. And we all are in different places in life, in different ability in life, in different knowledge. But sometimes we're so stuck in the old patterns that we keep repeating the patterns we have inherited from our parents without actually upgrading it. So that's why I'm here today, talking about generational cycles, bringing this awareness to know that it's not the scarcity thinking, not the fear of love being conditional, not the silence that is passed down through generation of people who never really had a language or the safety or the identity to do something else, to do something different. It's not your fault either, but it's your responsibility now as an adult to take your life in your hands, understand that this is not your fault, and start to change it. Start to have different opportunity. Allow yourself to have different opportunity for yourselves. Because the moment you can see those patterns clearly, really, really see them, not through shame, not through blame, but truly to understand what those patterns means to you, that is the moment when you kind of they start losing the grip on you, and you start allowing yourself to live a little bit more free out of the chains that those patterns have been keeping you. I'm a huge believer. I have said this many times, and I'll say it again. I'm a huge believer that there's no parent that wakes up in the morning and say, "Let me go to Google and see how I can screw up my kids today." We all parent from where we are, from how far we know, from how things have been done to us, and how we continue to operate from the same place. And having that understanding does not mean that it's erasing the impact. It does not make any situation different of just accepting it or easy out of something that you have been living through your life. You cannot just become grateful for your life knowing and seeing those patterns, but it gives you a clarity. It gives you a different perspective. It gives you a way to take your responsibility and sit with it. Own your own life. Own what happened to you. And then once you own it, you learn from it, and then you start changing it. Because as I said at the beginning, there's a huge difference from what happened to you and not with you. Hello, Lori from Texas. Good to have you here today. Thanks for joining. So yeah, we're talking about generational cycles and how what happened to you, it's not your responsibility. But it's your responsibility today as an adult to change what happened, to change yourself in a way, owning what happened to you, understanding it, and try to find what that means to you, because for all of us can mean something very different, and try to catch up with it. Try to see what are your unmet needs, what are the beliefs you're living in, and how those unmet needs and beliefs are shaping your life or holding you from your life. Sometimes in your childhood, you were participating in this what is happening with you, and somehow that small child was not allowed to go outside of the framework that you have been given. That wasn't your choice. You have been given this framework and you lived by that framework. But often that framework is not working. It's something that have been worked before, but not for you. And this is where this work starts. The moment you acknowledge and take responsibility for what happened with you, to you in your childhood, not with you. With awareness, with the capacity that you have today to choose what is good for you and what is not working for you. So you are the adult. You're not your patterns, and you have a full capacity to change all of this. You have a full capacity to go down to your blueprint that your parents and caregivers have installed to you and completely change that. And you're allowed to become a completely different person, because many times the blueprint, it's not yours, it's somebody else's. And when you start discovering this blueprint, many times the people who I work with are very fascinated how old that blueprint is and have gained understanding why it's no longer working. So, as we usually do, I really would like to show you how this actually works. Do a quick guided meditation to allow you to connect with what is bothering you, with some of your patterns that you are carrying with you. And think about it. What is your understanding of the difference between blame and responsibility? And how is this landing in your body? How are you feeling about this? Those two things happening, the blame and taking responsibility, because they are different. Acceptance is a large part. Even when clarity, sometimes it's still hard to understand the why. It's hard to overcome those childhood induced insecurity. Yes, absolutely, Lori. Absolutely. It's very hard because this blueprint have started very early on. And it gives you it comes automatically and it's easy because the mind accepts it, and the mind have the only one role, to keep you alive. And when something that you know how it's working and kept you safe for so many years, it's easier to continue on. It's easier to just live on autopilot based on this old print, because it's working. It have been working, although it has been holding you back. So that's why the change often comes with for some people, they find it difficult because you have to change. You have to be able to be ready to live your own life in order to restart your new life. But from everything that I have done in my own personal transformation, it has been totally worth it. It has been met many times with a lot of discomfort, because you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to get to a new place. But once you do that, it's absolutely amazing. The feeling of allowing to be you, allowing to make decisions for yourself because of you, not because of the expectations of somebody else. And if you find yourself making decisions based on somebody else's expectations, sit down with yourself and see where this is coming from. What exactly it means to you and why you need to do that. So I want to invite you for a short meditation. If you're driving, it's not a good time, but if you're in a safe place, just allow yourself to settle into your seat. You can close your eyes or rest your gaze on something. Bring the intention to your body. See how your body is sitting on the chair or on the ground, wherever you're sitting. I'll play some music. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in again. And breathe out. Notice how your body is supported. Feel the connection with the ground through your feet. Allow that connection to happen. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. Notice if there's any tension in your body. And if so, breathe into it. And as you breathe out, let it go. Allow this tension to be released through your feet, soaked in from the ground. Allowing your body to be at ease, to release. Breathe. I invite you to look into your mind and imagine you're looking into a library. And I want you to find one belief, just one, that you know that you have inherited. You don't have to overthink it. Your mind knows exactly which belief to show you. Maybe it's a belief about love. Belief about safety. Believe what you're allowed or not allowed to become. And it has to be just one belief, not too many. Start with one. Now allow this belief to come to you rather than reaching for you. Allow this belief to come front and center so you can explore it and see it for what it is. I invite you to hold that belief without the judgment. This belief, it's not a flaw in you. It's something that arrived in the way that weather arrives, shaped by force that come along before you. Ask yourself quietly, where did this come from? Don't search too hard. Just notice what is surfacing. Maybe a face, maybe a scene, a room, a feeling, or a scene of younger age. See it for what it is. Don't try to change it. And say to yourself gently, this was not my fault. This was not my fault. And let it land, even if part of yourself is resisting it. Breathe. And now the second part. Say to yourself, but it is my life now. And notice the difference between those two truths. Because two truths are possible. The first one is releasing you from the blame. And the second one is handing you your own hands back to you. Breathe. And today you don't have to do anything with this belief. Just see it clearly. Something that arrived, not something that is permanent, and not something that is you. Sit with this understanding for a second. See it that is something that just arrived, not something that is permanent. Breathe. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice how your body is rising when you breathe in, and calming when you breathe out. Notice your body being supported here. Notice that seeing that belief allows you to sit a little bit more easier on this chair. And at that moment, you're becoming more aware of your surroundings, more aware of the noises around you. And more aware, where are you today? When you're ready, you can take a deep breath in and open your eyes. Come back, everybody. And welcome back. How this short but sweet meditation have worked for you? Were you able to bring this belief front and center and see it? Were you able to see it without the judgment? Because we often judge before we give ourselves a chance to understand. So last week I spoke about the voice that it's not allowing ourselves to rest sometimes, and how it's different from the stories that we are telling ourselves, while we're still believing and telling the ones that we inherited through our parents and grandparents, and we hold to it. Today we talk about the difference between carrying an old belief, and the difference between blame and taking responsibility for that. And how important is to have the awareness that what happened to you, it's different from that it happened to you, not with you. And today I spend time explaining that difference to you, and I really hope that meditation gives you opportunity to to see that difference, to feel that difference, and to allow yourself to be connected with a belief that it's not actually yours. And I want to take a moment to reflect on that thread that we have been trying to pull together and connect with our beliefs and our generational cycles. How they sat with us, and what actually, in what way we're allowing ourselves to change. The courage to see your own patterns, it's huge, and it takes time to really see it. Not to assign the blame to somebody, but to really connect with what happened and rewire your story. Not putting it on somebody else to be responsible of, but taking responsibility of what had happened. Learning from it, and in a way start to upgrading that blueprint in order to allow yourself free of those chains that you have been put in. To understand where those things are coming from, to recognize and paraphrase the beliefs that first have been installed in you. And that will give you a chance to arrive and be connected with your real self, the one that have been born with all the gifts that you come to this world with. And what you do with all of this, it's entirely up to you. It's entirely your responsibility to change. It's entirely your responsibility how you're gonna take it and what you're gonna do with it. And that is not a small thing. That is huge. And that is everything, actually. Because the moment you stop blaming anybody for where you are in life and what is happening to you, it's the moment where the change starts. And I really hope all of you here today have the understanding that you hold the power for it. You you're the one who can show up for yourself and who can start the change and start to upgrade this blueprint. And this kind of work, it's not comfortable. It's really asking for a real commitment, and it's asking for a real ability to see the facts, accept the facts, and literally go through the fire in order to get on the other side. So I really want to give you opportunity and inspire you to think about those beliefs that you have been carrying, the patterns that have been following you. And next week we'll continue to talk about this, continue to just to embrace this availability to feel a little bit different. Next week we're going to talk about the wounds and the scars, because there is difference, a very specific, very important difference between telling your stories while you're still bleeding and telling it once you're already healed from it, when you're already enough connected to your gifts. I didn't understand this at the beginning when my editor told me about stories being told from the scar, from the wound and from the scar, but I really trusted her, and I allowed her to lead me to that healing point, to that scar that it's telling the same story, but in a very, very different way. Many times we're stuck in our stories that we're continue to say to ourselves and continue to live from it, but we are living with the hurt. We're living with the bleeding scar, one that is still very active, even though it had happened many times back. So once you keep that pain in you, often that pain grows and turns into rage, turns into hate, and turns into something that it's not really serving you. The moment you were able to understand that and see it, it's the moment that really sets you free. It really allows you your power to come to the surface and allow you to see from different perspective, allow you to set yourself free. I will also be sharing with you some of my beliefs that almost stopped me of publishing my book, of doing this work, and just continue to whisper in your head those old beliefs, those old holds back sentences like who are you to do this, who you think you are in order to become an author, are you able to deliver that? And all of this, it's part of the work, part of the overcoming where you are, what you hold in you, and allowing yourself to detach from those old beliefs, from that old voice that is still nagging you and holding you back. And I really hope that a lot of you will recognize that voice that you carry in your head too, because we all do, in a different ways maybe, but we all do carry that voice in our head. So I invite you to join us next week too. I'll be here on Tuesday, I think same time, and we'll continue that same topic of growth and disconnect, empowering each other to disconnect from those generational patterns. If you're new to generational patterns and it's the first time you're hearing about it and you don't know where to start, I really want to encourage you to look into my website. I have it's revealedmind.com, and over there I have a generational assessment that you can do for yourself, and it's a good place to start to see what patterns are connected to you, what patterns are surfacing for you. And it's literally the first step to start to recognize the patterns. It gives you awareness, and that awareness can help you start changing the way how you operate, start upgrading your own blueprint. On my YouTube channel, I do have a lot of meditations that can help you work out with your patterns and start letting them go a little bit or a lot. It depends on how much work you're willing to do, because at the end of the day, the change that you acquire, it's the amount of you being available, being invested in this work, because nobody can get into your mind and simply change the frequency. It's you who have to do the work. It's you that you can sit down and start using the tools. We're all of us here on Insight Timer can give you a lot of tools, but in order to change something, you have to start using those tools and start making the progress. So the work is required, and sometimes because it's easy, it's very hard, because you have to stop and sit and allow yourself to have that time, that 10 minutes, 20 minutes to listen to your meditation, to listen to your recording, and actually allow your body and mind to get connected, to get upgraded, and to able to move on to the next point in life. I was mentioning before that I'm very close to getting to my 100th live here on Insight Timer, and I really want to celebrate that point. I will be doing a lot of giveaways in July in order to celebrate that 100th live here on Insight Timer. And if you would like to participate, all you have to do is just show up on the lives, and we'll see how exactly we're going to shape this. But I really want to give back to the community. I want to give back to all of you who consistently have been showing up and learning and allowing yourself to be inspired, allowing yourself to get a little bit closer and closer every single day to the desire that you have in mind. If you have any personal questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can do this through Insight Timer or through any of the social medias connection. And I'm more than happy to talk to you. I have a 30 minutes consultation call that you can use for any questions you want. So let me know if any of you are hearing for generational cycles for first time, generational patterns, generational cycles work. Is any of you are hearing for this work for first time, or you are all already on the healing path and upgrading path of yourself? There is no wrong or right answer on that. It's just a way to give me a little bit more information back, so I know how to navigate those talks and how to really make them accessible and really provide you with the right amount of information. I was aware but not actively digging deeper. Good, Lori. Good. Oh, now you have the awareness and you can start digging deeper because they're so intertwined in us, and they start very early on. We have the proof that we have so far is that those patterns and beliefs starts very early as 3 months into your being in the mother's womb. So it's fascinating how early this starts and how actively can change our lives, because it's just like a garden, and your parents have been given permission to spread the seeds in this garden, and sometimes there are seeds of love and availability and belonging, and sometimes are just the seeds of scarcity, fears, and not things that are not available to you. And all of those do affect your life. All of those do affect how you feel with yourself. So it's fascinating work, and you are the one who can do it. You're the one who can really change your blueprint. People like me are here to help you, support you, provide you with the tools that you need to navigate your journey, but you are the one really doing the work. All right, I want to really say that I'm grateful for all of you being here today. Thank you for allowing me your time and presence to be part of this live. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week again, and hope that this information has been inspiring for your own blueprint to change. So have a great day, stay curious, and start digging deeper. Bye everybody. Thank you.